Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio and welcome to week 36 of the Stash Buster block series. And our block today is called the Album Block. It's a 9-patch block. This one is 12 inches square and it is made with squares and half square triangles, and then we have this unit here that goes with the half square triangle. This one actually goes together pretty easily and pretty quickly, so I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, this is the album block, and I'm going to show you the fabrics that we need to make this. And we need, for our dark fabric, we need 4 pieces that are 2.5 inches square. For the light, we need 1 4.5 inch square, and then we need 4 2 7/8 inch squares, and then you're going to cut them in half diagonally once. And for our medium fabrics, we need 4 4.5 inch squares and 2 4 7/8 inch squares, and they are also cut in half diagonally. Okay, so to get started, we're going to make this part of the half square triangle unit. So we need our dark 2.5 inch squares, and then we need the triangles that we cut from the light fabric. These are the 2 7/8 inch squares, and we cut those in half diagonally. Okay, so we're going to match these triangles up, and we're going to take the right angle and place it here and here. So we want a long angle here with this in the corner. So we're going to go ahead and sew those, and we'll use a 1/4 inch seam allowance as we always do, and we'll just match that corner up. Okay, and then the other piece is going to go over here, and it's going to go this direction. So you can press this seam here towards the light, or you can finger press it, whichever you want to do. I'm going to just grab my iron and press that real quick. And just watch when you put these together and make sure that you are getting an angle right here on that piece. So I'm going to sew this one on, and you can do these in chain piecing. Do one side at a time. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like when we open it. And then we have this. So I'm going to go ahead and press this towards the light triangle also. And so here we have that unit, and I'm going to go ahead and trim off these dog ears to help reduce the bulk in the quilt. And there we go. Now we want to take the medium triangles that we cut from the 4 7/8 inch squares and match those up right sides together, and then sew that. Now I want to sew it from this side, because what I want to see is I want to see this point right there where those 2 lines of stitching cross, right there and there, and I want to stitch just to the inside of that point, just by a hair or a thread. So I'll just line those up. And then as I'm coming to this section, this intersection, I'm going to watch real close and get as close to that as I can without going into it. And we'll see how that went. I got really close, so I may have gotten too close. We'll see here. Nope, that's all right. So this is what you want. You want a nice crisp point. So now we're going to press this towards the medium triangle. Then we have our unit, and I'm going to cut off these dog ears and then make 3 more of these. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and chain piece the rest of these. So I'm just going to lay my triangle on my square. Okay, so I have 3 units that look like this. I just need to sew the other triangle onto this side. So I'm going to go press these and sew those other triangles on. Now I'm going to do the other triangle, just making sure I've got them going in the right direction, and then we'll sew these on. So this is going to work better going this way. Okay, I have all of these 3 done, and I'm going to go ahead and trim off dog ears and then stitch them to the other triangle. All done, and just need to press. Okay, we're going to press all of these towards the darker triangle. See if I can get them open. There we go. And one more. Okay. Time to do more trimming. And get these little dog ears off. And if those don't bother you, you don't have to take them off. They do bother me, so I take them off. They create extra bulk in your quilt that can make it more difficult to quilt when you get to that phase. Okay, so now I'm going to lay out the pieces. Move this up a little closer. Okay, so what we have are 4.5 inch medium squares. And then we have the white, and the 4.5 medium squares go all around the light one, which for me is a white fabric. And this block I'm making with all batiks. So do your half square triangle unit so that the dark square is pointing towards the center. So now we're all laid out, and now we just need to sew them together. So I'm going to go ahead, and we really don't have any points that we have to worry about at this stage. So we're just going to sew. I'm going to sew them together in rows, and then I will sew all the rows together. So this is a pretty easy block. The most difficult thing is doing the piece triangle and the half square triangle unit. So, and that's not too difficult. Okay, I got the first two pieces on. And piece number 3. Okay, here is row 1. And then row 2 is all of the solid squares. There's no piecing in these. Okay, here's row 2, right there, and row 3. I'm going to sew this one with the seams down because they all are facing away from the presser foot, so that they should just lay flat and not flip on me. And this one I'm going to sew with the seams up for the same reason, so that those seams won't want to flip up on me. Okay. Now I'm ready to sew the rows together. Here's row number 3, which actually goes that way. Okay, for pressing this block, what I want to do is press away from the white anytime that I can, and in this block it's going to work fine. Whenever you have piecing that's going perpendicular to your seam, your fabric's going to want to fold away from that anyway, so that way you're not fighting those seams. And in this case, it's also pressing it towards the dark, which is always a good option. So in the middle seam, I'm going to press towards the dark, and do the same on this seam, towards the dark. And on this row, do the same thing on this row, press towards the dark. Okay, now I just need to sew my rows together, and all my seams should nest together just like that, so that those seams will come together real nicely. So you can pin those if you want. If you don't like pinning, and there's no reason why you need to. If you can get your seams to nest together without pinning, that's great. And I can do that by feel. You can feel that they're all nested together when you're sewing them. But I'm going to go ahead and pin them today. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, line up my raw edges. There we go. We've got the first 2 rows together. So there we go. Now I'll add the last row, and I'll do the same thing. I'll nest the seams together and pin them, and sew them, and then we'll be done. Okay, now we'll go press one more time and our block is done. Okay, this block, I just kind of tossed it over here, and it's already, the seams want to go towards the center, which is great because that's the way I wanted to press it anyway. So I'll just go ahead and press it that way. And just press it all over, or you can always use steam. And here we go. So here is our album block. Okay, here are 4 of the album blocks laid out, and you can see this is a symmetrical block, and no matter which way I turn any of these blocks, you'll get the same look. It's not going to matter how they're laid out. So when they're all together, side by side, this is the look that you'll get. What you can do is put sashing in between them. So if I place them like that, that kind of gives you an idea of what this would look like with sashing. And of course you can do alternate blocks by, you know, putting a different block in between them like that. And so they would be meeting like that, and then you could put a different 12-inch block in here and make a secondary design. So there are other things that you could do, and if you do decide to put them all together, then you have nice big spaces to do some quilting, like you'd have a diamond shape here and here, and then you have rectangles that are formed where the 2 side squares come together. So there's a lot of things you could do quilting this layout this way. I hope you enjoyed this video on the album block. This one goes together pretty quickly, and it's a nice big 12-inch block. So this is a good block for a beginner to learn how to do the half square triangles and these units here. So I hope you'll give this one a try. And don't forget, the written instructions are in the description below. There's a link to my blog that will have those instructions for you, and it will give you all the details on the cutting measurements that you need for this block. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.